Welcome back, and today I'm going to make thick chocolate brownies. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get my butter and my chocolate ready. Okay, so I have a very large glass measuring bowl that I'm going to use. You can just use a regular glass bowl. I like the measuring bowl because later I'm going to pour the butter and the chocolate into another bowl. So you need 3 sticks of butter, which is a half a cup and a half a cup. So that's 1 cup. That's 1.5 cups. So 3 sticks of butter, 1.5 cups. Okay. And I have preheated my oven to 325. I'm using a glass casserole dish tonight. I'll show you. If you're using metal, you'll probably want to preheat your oven to 350, but since I'm using glass, I'm going to do 325. Okay, and then the next thing you need is chocolate baking bars, unsweetened, and you need a total of 8 ounces. So one package is 4 ounces. What I'm going to do, even though I'm going to melt this, is I'm going to break it up. And this, like I said, is unsweetened. So if you're tempted to eat this, it's going to be very bitter. And also you don't want to eat your ingredients because then it won't come out right. But you can just break this up and it smells delicious. So that's 4 ounces right there. And then another 4 ounces. Little pieces in there. Hope everybody's having a good day today. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and take this over to the microwave and start microwaving. Brownie recipe. These brownies are going to end up thick, but I am using a 9 by 15 glass casserole dish. So I'm going to butter my glass casserole dish while my chocolate and my butter is melting. And all the corners. And once I get like the majority of it, I'm going to set the butter aside for a second. And then I'm going to take this plastic wrap and just make sure that I did not miss a spot. And before I add the flour, I'm going to go check on my chocolate and my butter. I don't think it's quite done yet. I will probably go and stir it. Like a tablespoon or so of flour and put it over on the casserole dish. I had to do a little bit more than a tablespoon. And then I'm going to move in. Okay, now you can see. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I get the flour all over the casserole dish. And it's not always so easy. So what I found works really well is one of these silicone brushes that people use for the barbecue and stuff. And just kind of get it in all the little spots that I missed. And then after I'm done with that, then I will shake off the excess as best as I can. And it's not quite ready. I'm going to stir it and then we will go ahead and check back again. Okay, so the chocolate and the butter is all stirred up. And now I'm just going to set that aside. And then I'm going to do my next ingredient, which is 4 cups of sugar. Now when measuring sugar, you want to level off your sugar. I use the end of a knife, or you could use a metal spatula, which works great also. So 1, 2, 3, 4, And then I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to pour my butter and sugar into, my butter and chocolate into my sugar. It will be all that. I'm going to scrape the sides of the rubber spatula, sides of the bowl. Well, so far we got sugar, butter, and chocolate. In the meantime, mix this by hand. We got some of the mixing already done. We will eventually use the mixer to pre-mix this up. Scrape the sides. And now I'm going to set that aside. And now I need 6 eggs. Okay, so I got my sugar bag as my garbage bag right now. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I'm going to get out some of the shell, because the shell happened to get in there. And that sometimes does happen, and I usually fish it out with the shell. Time for the vanilla, and I always like to measure my extracts into my eggs. So we need 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 1, and if a little, 2, and if a little extra gets in there, that's okay too, because it's vanilla and it will taste delicious. So now I'm going to scramble these eggs up a little. And then I'm going to put it in the bowl with the sugar, chocolate, and butter. And then I'm going to mix this up by hand. So far we have chocolate, butter, sugar, egg, vanilla. And now it's going to be time for the flour, but I'm just going to stir this up a little bit. And then I'm going to start adding the flour. So I need 2 cups of flour. Set this aside. And when measuring flour, you need to level it off as well. One. 2. Okay, we'll set that aside. And then I'm going to hand mix this, and then in a few minutes we will take it over to the mixer. But while I'm hand mixing this, getting some of it already mixed in, I'm going to go over the ingredient list. So we have 8 ounces of unsweetened chocolate. We have 1.5 cups of butter, which is 3 sticks. We have 4 cups of sugar, 6 eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and 2 cups of flour. And I always like to go over everything when it's at this point, because then if I miss something, I could then at this point add. We are going to use this type of mixer, a mixing attachment, excuse me. And you don't want to use a wire whisk for sure. A dough hook might be just too much, so this is the right type. And if you're using a hand mixer, you know, handheld, not a standing mixer, but handheld mixer, just don't use the wire whisk, because that wouldn't work. So if you had to, you could probably do this recipe by hand, but you'll be mixing a very long time to make it smooth, because you do want it definitely smooth. Okay, here we go. Okay, now now I'm gonna scrape the edges. Now I want to just mention something. People might wonder, why am I mixing it so fast? So when you mix it fast, besides which you're blending everything together, you're also bringing air into the batter, which makes it a really nice consistency. Also, I could go straight to going fast because I had it pre-mixed up so the flour wasn't going to fly. So I'm scraping the edges, and then I'm going to put it on high again, making sure nothing's sticking to the bottom. It smells so good. But you don't want to eat it at this point because it is raw eggs, and that's not advisable. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put that on high again. Okay, let's see how it's looking. I think it's probably ready, and it is, and I will show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to take the rubber spatula and the best that I can get off all the excess batter. And as I said before, I have my oven preheating at 325 because I'm using a glass casserole dish. If you were doing metal, you'd probably have to do 350. And I'm glad that I have a handle on my mixing bowl because I'm going to pour, oh, see how you can see better. Okay. There we go. I'm going to pour this and scrape it at the same time. It's kind of a thick batter, and you want to try to do it and get it evenly spread as best as you can when you're pouring, and then you can go back and scraping the bowl. I am my own camera person, so it's not so easy always to get the right angle. Luckily, my husband does all the editing, so I don't have to do that part. But the camera part I do. And so I apologize if I don't have the right angle. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and get the rest of this off. There's still some, it's kind of a stickier batter. Okay. I think that is as much as I could possibly get out of there. I find that sometimes metal works a little bit better than rubber when you're trying to spread brownies out, or even frosting sometimes. I find that the metal works a little bit better. So I'm just trying to get all my batter even as much as possible so you don't, especially in the corners, but also so you don't have like one really thick part of the brownie and then a thinner part of the brownie. So as much as possible, just even it out. Okay, so I'm going to pop this in the oven, in the middle of the oven, and I'm going to go ahead and set a timer for 30 minutes, and I will check on it and see how we're coming along. Like I said, these are thicker brownies, so they take maybe a little bit longer than the traditional brownies. So we will check on it soon. Inside the oven and see how these brownies are coming along. So as you can see, they're getting larger. They're coming along well. I'm going to set a timer for probably another 15 minutes or so. So it's been about 15 minutes. I'm going to set a timer for another 15 minutes. It smells like it might be done, so I'm going to go ahead and check. look into the oven. Looks very close. I'm gonna pull this out a little. And I'm gonna take a toothpick and I'm gonna check it in the center. And it's still, oh, I'm trying to show you. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's still very gooey, so not quite yet. So probably we'll check it again in another 10 minutes. It is time to go ahead and take the brownies out of the oven. And we're going to check it. Okay, let's check it. And the toothpick is coming out clean. And now we're going to go ahead and go get some powdered sugar while it's nice and hot. Okay, so I used to just go ahead and take a sifter, like a flour sifter, and put the powdered sugar on it and then would bang it over the top. But my daughter found this handy little device, and you put the powdered sugar, how did I get this open? Okay, don't do it over the brownies. You put the powdered sugar into like this cup, and then you put this sifter on top, and it kind of locks in there, and then you can store it when you're not using it like that. So this is gonna make things a lot easier. I've already used this before on pizzellis, but it's gonna work good on the brownies. So the important thing to do is when you have the brownies are still very hot, then you go ahead and you take the powdered sugar and put it on while it's hot. Do it as evenly as possible so it looks nice. And I cannot wait to taste test these brownies. And I am going to go ahead and cut them, or cut one at least for me, while it's warm. But I got to let it cool off just a tad. So I will be back very shortly to taste test these brownies. Now my favorite part, the taste test. And this is very moist. Can't wait to try this. Very, very good. Absolutely delicious. Now, I like my brownies warm, so it's nice. I actually made this between dinner, so this is my dessert. And I'm going to go ahead and put this brownie into a bowl. It's still warm, and I'm going to top it off with some vanilla ice cream, because that makes it even better. If you have a warm brownie and you put some vanilla ice cream on it, boy, that is delicious. Okay, now time to try it with the vanilla ice cream. I had to get a picture of that because it looks so good. So I think I'm going to use a fork still with the vanilla ice cream and the warm brownie. You got to get a little bit of both. Now that's the perfect combination. The vanilla ice cream complements the brownie. Very delicious. I can't wait to sit down, put my feet up, and have that for my dessert. Thank you for watching. Thank you, subscribers. If you don't subscribe, please subscribe to my channel if you enjoy the content. It is free. And please like the video and have a great evening. Thank you for watching.